everyone, today I'm going to read you the story The Snail and the Whale by Julia Donaldson and Axel Scheffler. This is a tale of a tiny snail and a great big grey-blue humpback whale. This is a rock as black as soot, and this is a snail with an itchy foot. That's what this part of the snail is called. It's called their foot. They've only got one foot. We've got two, haven't we? The sea snail slithered all over the rock and gazed at the sea and the ships in the dock. And as she gazed, she sniffed and sighed. The sea is deep and the world is wide. How I long to sail, said the tiny snail. Oh, look, can you see the little tiny snail on this rock? Looking out at the sea. These are the other snails in the flock, who all stuck tight to the smooth black rock, and said to the snail with the itchy foot, "Be quiet, don't wriggle, sit still, stay put." But the tiny sea snail sighed and sniffed, then cried, "I've got it, I'll hitch a lift." This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail that looped and curled and said, "Lift wanted around the world." What a clever snail, leaving a silvery trail. Wonder who will come to give the snail a lift. This is the whale who came one night when the tide was high and the stars were bright. A humpback whale immensely long, who sang to the snail a wonderful song of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves. And this is the tail of the humpback whale. He held it out of the starlit sea and said to the snail, "Come sail with me." Wow, that's a kind whale, isn't it? Letting the snail climb onto his tail. I wonder what adventures they'll go on together. This is the sea, so wild and free, that carried the whale and the snail on his tail. Can you see the little tiny snail on the whale's tail? To towering icebergs and far off lands, with fiery mountains and golden sands. Wow. These are the waves that arched and crashed, that foamed and frolicked and sprayed and splashed the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. Gosh, that's a bit scary for a little tiny snail, isn't it? These are the caves beneath the waves, where stripy fish with feathery fins and sharks with hideous toothy grins swam round the whale and the snail on his tail. Gosh, can you see all the stripes on the fish? Wonder how the little snail must be feeling with all those sharks swimming around. This is the sky, so vast and high, sometimes sunny and blue and warm, sometimes filled with a thunderstorm, with zigzag lightning flashing and frightening the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. Gosh, so that's what the sky looks like when it's all nice and blue. And then over here when it's raining and there's a thunderstorm. I think the snail must be very scared. And she gazed at the sky, the sea, the land, the waves and the caves and the golden sand. She gazed and gazed, amazed by it all, and she said to the whale, "I feel so small. Gosh, can you see where the little tiny snail is on the whale's tail there? Very small next to this big wide world. But then came the day the whale lost his way. These are the speedboats running a race, zigging and zooming all over the place, upsetting the whale with their ear-splitting roar, making him swim too close to the shore. Oh no, that's not good, is it? This is the tide slipping away. Oh no, the poor whale. And this is the whale lying beached in a bay. Oh no. Quick, off the sand, back to sea, cried the snail. There he is. I can't move on land, I'm too big, moaned the whale. The snail felt helpless and terribly small. Then, I've got it, she cried, and started to crawl. I must not fail, said the tiny snail. Wonder where she's crawling to. That poor whale lying beached on the beach. It's not good, is it? Whales need to be in the water to live. Wonder what's going to happen. This is the bell on the school in the bay, ringing the children in from their play. This is the teacher holding her chalk, telling the class, sit straight, don't talk. This is the board as black as soot. And this is the snail with the itchy foot. A snail, a snail! The teacher turns pale. Look, say the children, it's leaving a trail. This is the trail of the tiny snail. A silvery trail saying, save the whale. Wow, what a clever snail. These are the children running from school, fetching the firemen, digging a pool, squirting and spraying to keep the whale cool. Oh, that's good that they're trying to help the whale, isn't it? That's very kind. See, they're putting lots of water on the whale to help him to stay cool. Because whales need water, don't they, to live? See the fire officer climbing up his ladder and spraying the hose onto the whale. This is the tide coming into the bay, and these are the villagers shouting, hooray! As the whale and the snail travel safely away. Oh, look, the snail's back on the whale. Oh, thank goodness they're safe. Back to the dock and the flock on the rock, who said, how time's flown, and haven't you grown? And the whale and the snail told their wonderful tale of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves, and of how the snail, so small and frail, with her looping, curling, silvery trail, saved the life of the humpback whale. Then the humpback whale held out his tail, and on crawled snail after snail after snail. Look, there they all are. He's seeing them back on his rock. And look at all the snails climbing onto the whale's tail. What a brave, brave snail he's been, hasn't he? And they sang to the sea as they all set sail on the tail of the grey-blue humpback whale. Oh, look at all of them on the tail. Should we count how many there are? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 snails on the whale's tail. Oh, the end. That's a nice story. Well done for listening. Bye for now.